Alright guys, so how YouTube does it is basically I have to record the video on my phone and then I upload it to YouTube from there. It's not as easy as like making a short or anything, but alright, let's give this a go. Okay, so first I'm going to start with the fact that Abigail has been transferred to 2 hospitals. She has been in the NICU continuously for 7 months. They're now 7 months. They just turned 7 months on the 25th of October. So they're 7 months old now. And Abigail has been in the NICU her whole life. So basically when we started at the first hospital, great. Loved them. They really cared about Abigail. They weren't really sure what was going on with her. They had a few ideas, but they weren't able to do like much of the testing or anything like that. So she did end up getting transferred to the next hospital for a G-tube placement, and they ended up doing a Nissen. They ended up adding in the Nissen. So she ended up going for that, and there she got an MRI and all kinds of other things. So this hospital was the one that, if you look back on my other videos, I was staying at Ronald McDonald for a while at this one. She's been at this one for majority of the time now. This one, she was there for so she was at the first for 2 months, and then she got transferred in like the end of May to this next one, and then she just got transferred again in October. So she was at this one for majority of the time, the second one. This hospital was horrific. I'm not going to name the hospital because I just don't want to like put it out there. If I'm messaged privately and somebody wants to know what the hospital is because they're looking for a hospital in Florida, I will let you know which one it is. It was the NICU. Remember, I had an experience with the NICU, not any other section of the hospital. My opinion on the NICU, guys, first off, when she was transferred from the second hospital, when she was transferred, let's just say they put things in the notes, and I kid you not on these things. They put things in the notes, like mother's difficult, for one. They put that in the notes, and they also they left certain things out of the notes. They also put in, a few other things. But when she was at this hospital, she started, and for my daughter's privacy, I'm debating on posting the video. If I do it, it'd be for moms who are experiencing something with their child and they don't know what it is, only to help in that sense of, this is what my baby was doing. Even the hospital ignored it. They said it was sleeping patterns, but it actually turned out to be pretty serious seizures. Guys, my baby was in the hospital, in the NICU, being watched over all the time with professionals, and they called her. So they're infantile spasms. I did have it clarified to me, they are considered a type of seizure, and some people have said they're pretty dangerous. Everybody has their own thoughts on them. To me, like, a seizure is just something that you need to run an EEG for. I pointed this out with a video. I may post it. I may post the video just for like you guys to know what it looked like and what it was labeled as after testing. She was having what they were calling at the second hospital, they were calling them sleeping patterns, or an even more like condescending word. I can't remember exactly what the word was that she used, but she wasn't worried about it. She didn't need an EEG or anything like that. So not only that, when we went to the next hospital, everybody was saying, when I pointed it out, because after her travels, she went from one area to the other area. I think it was about a 3-hour distance. Okay, so after her travels, they got worse. The eye rolling in the back of her, her eyes were rolling in the back of her head, and she was like jolting, like almost like a baby reflex, but not. It wasn't. So she started doing it. The second day there, I caught it, and I was there with her, and I said that she's doing it again. And they're like, yeah, well, she's already had her EEG. I was like, no, she didn't. They did not give her an EEG. And they said, well, they put in here that she's already had one. And I'm like, I'm telling you right now, they denied it. They said that she was having sleep patterns. I told them every word that the lady told me verbatim. I said, they told me she was having the sleep patterns, or whatever she said they were. And the lady's like, are you sure? And I was like, yes. And then she had a few other people, because mind you, I was the difficult parent in this situation. They labeled me as the difficult parent. So they had like 5 people come in. The doctor's like, so you haven't seen this before? I was like, I saw it 2 other times. I have videos of it. I can show you the videos of them. I took it and she was doing it, and they're now getting worse. And she's like, okay, so you're saying she's never done this before. You're saying she has not had an EEG as far as you know. And you're saying, and I said, yes. And then the lady's like, well, let's order her an EEG. And I was like, thank God. So the lady ordered her, this is at the 3rd hospital. The lady ordered her an EEG. And found out that she was having the infantile spasms. And I talked to the neurologist. The neurologist said it's a form of seizure and stuff like that. And they're giving her some type of steroid for them to help them go away. So I was happy with that. Another thing the second hospital was doing, I don't know if you guys know much about like the breathing. There's a ventilator, which is the one that goes inside. There's the CPAP, and then there's also like the nasal cannula. There's a high flow and low flow nasal cannula. My baby was on an 8 CPAP for like 2 months. I want to say 3-ish, give or take, a week or so. She was on the CPAP for that long. I spoke to one doctor at this new hospital. He came in. He's like, I heard that you guys were difficult parents, and I wanted to meet you myself. The guy, he was ENT. He came and he spoke to us. He started saying all these things. He started saying, did she have a swallow study? And I was like, she never had a swallow study. He said, why? He said, because they said she wasn't swallowing. I was like, you get the one guy who said she wasn't swallowing, or they can't do them here because she's too little, and then you get the other person that said, oh, she's not swallowing, we just can't. The guy's like, we're gonna get her a swallow study. Okay, so then we also get the question of listen, let me clarify. The reason why she was being transferred was because, dude, and like, God bless the insurance. Like, the caseworker, if you guys are having issues with your, with the hospital, the caseworker is gold. She helped me push for a transfer for my baby, for a second opinion on a trach. They wanted to give her the trach, okay? And I didn't want to do it because when I would hold her myself, guys, this is my 6th child, okay? The twins are 5 and 6. They're 5 and 6 kids. When I held my baby, I was like, I just knew that I just had like this feeling like something was off. She didn't, I don't know. And on top of it, ENT at the second hospital flat out said she does not need a trach. They do not see a need for a trach unless the hospital and parents agree. So her transfer was strictly for a second opinion on a trach. That's why we ended up getting transferred like that. The guy's like, why the trach? I said, they told me it was for secretion management. They wanted to manage her secretions, okay? So they wanted to manage her secretions with a tracheostomy. The guy's like, well, a tracheostomy for a baby, that's a lot. You got to carry a suitcase. You got to do this. And I just feel like it's a little too much for us to just not know. Thank you. Like, thank you so much. For real. He's like, we're going to try and lower her oxygen. He's going to run it through the other specialists, and we're going to look into doing her oxygen. Let me tell you, 2 days at the third hospital, she went from a CPAP of 8. They lowered her to a 6, like a week or 2 before transfer, probably because they knew it was too long, I don't know. But a week or 2 before transfer, they lowered her to a 6. So she went from a CPAP of 6 to a nasal cannula 100%. She was at the 100%. So they lowered her. She did great. She did so great. She did great, okay? They gave her another MRI. They did find a few things for prematurity. I forget what it was exactly. Something about I can't remember exactly what it was. But it was a few things for like prematurity. They literally said, we're not worried about it. We're not worried about it. So then we go back to the seizures. She had her EEG. She had her MRI. So now like days are going by at the second hospital, and she's still having her seizures. She's doing great on the nasal cannula, like more and more reports of it. Her secretions are easier to manage, and everything like that. And then, so basically, like where we are right now with Abigail is her discharge date. After being 7 months in the hospital, her discharge date is somewhere around November 17th, before Thanksgiving, okay? And she is now officially down to nasal cannula of 6, and she's doing great. They're trying to manage her seizures with a new medicine that seems to be working a little better. She's still having issues with her seizures. They're having to try a new medication. But one of the doctors, she said that she noticed that when she was getting her diaper changed, because when she'd get overstimulated is when you notice that she'd have them a lot more. But when she was giving her diaper change, she said she didn't get as worked up. And she's also noticed that ever since they've been managing them with the new medication, her seizures, that she's had less secretions. So after all of this, this is where we're at right now. It's pretty, it was a pretty crazy ride. I really don't even know. We started with the Botox, and then I think about it, guys, also, I'm sharing this like you guys are like friends. Also, I was able to put my finger in her mouth, and she did like this, like, because she's had a problem with her sucking and swallowing, right? She was able to put her lips around my pinky, and she sucked on it a little bit. This was when I was with her last weekend. She did really good. She did really good. She's improving so much, and I think to myself, if I would have gotten that second dose of Botox, she wouldn't be doing that, because that's basically what the Botox injections do that don't work. They paralyze like the mouth and stuff. They were using it for, I don't know, they really wanted her to get the second dose, but we were like, why, if it didn't work? So she didn't get the second dose, and sure enough, she's starting to like do the whole mouth thing. She was talking to me the other day. She was talking so much, not like Celia is a chatterbox, but she was talking a lot more. And I also noticed that she was like, her talking is like kind of like she's trying to clear her secretions, kind of. Guys, that hospital bullied me. They had social services involved and everything. They had the kids they had the kids meet with a play therapist when we got there. All of that because we, sorry, so they did all of this because I guess they said that I was like a difficult parent. So this could have went one of two ways, okay? It could have went, when I first got there, I think that this hospital was like, okay, this mom is gonna be a problem. Full on. But then you get an ENT that's willing to talk to you, that's willing to listen, who's willing to come from his house to speak to you, okay? And then you also get a case manager who is willing to listen to you and who's willing to give you the transfer. And then just everything lined up for her. Everything lined up. She had her seizures while they were there, and they believed me. They took a long shot, and they believed the crazy woman. I don't know what it actually said. It just said, the ENT said that it said something about difficult parents, I guess. But the doctor took a long shot, gave her an EEG herself. They called me like the next day saying that they were going to throw out the other hospital's notes, and they were going to make their own. They were going to start over. This was terrifying. This whole situation, you go to a place and you expect them to take care of your family members, and sometimes the most delicate ones, and it can just turn into a nightmare. But that nightmare, it just changed for her. They gave her a chance. They technically gave me a chance too, because the stuff that I witnessed in these past 7 months, technically the first 2 months weren't that bad. Guys, I don't even know. I'm so thankful. That ENT he had to leave 2 days later. He was there. in just enough time to change everything for her. Well, that is my story up until now. Abigail's doing much better. She's at a new hospital and she's doing much better on everything. On everything. Everything, complete turnaround. But, well, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. I hope this helps somebody. It's really hard. It's really hard trying to advocate in a medical setting sometimes, because not all the time, because not now, but sometimes you get the people that are like, we know. But sometimes you also get the ones that listen. So I hope this helps any mom who's going through this, and I will try and continue to update, get you guys a video of Abigail. I'm not gonna lie, I was going through a moment where it was very, very rough. So I'm gonna do that, and yeah, hopefully I can upload more and you guys can continue to follow our whole family and see how Abigail ends up doing. Ultimately, I'll have to upload a video of the twins finally home together and all of them home together. So look out for that too. All right, bye guys.